Welcome to the enchanting realm of 1001 Nights, a channel that whisks you away to a world of wonder and magic, where the sands of time blur the lines between reality and fantasy. If you're among those who cherish the ancient tales and legends, especially the renowned stories from the land of Persia, this channel is your haven. Here, the adventures of 1001 Nights are narrated through a captivating blend of sound and visuals, a true masterpiece that has been passed down through the ages. A tale that some might mistakenly refer to as Arabian Nights, but its true essence and origins trace back to the era of the Persian Empire, with narratives deeply embedded in the traditional symbols and beliefs of that time. The names of the characters, led by the protagonist Scheherazade, famously known as the storyteller Scheherazade, stand as primary evidence of its rich Persian heritage. To embark on this ongoing saga, we must first understand how Scheherazade became intertwined with the tales of 1001 Nights, a story in its own right, filled with intrigue, adventure, and the timeless struggle between good and evil. Thus, we begin our journey into 1001 Nights with the tale that transformed Scheherazade into the legendary storyteller, a journey that will take us through the courts of kings, the secrets of the harem, and the unbreakable bonds of brotherhood.
"1001 Nights, This Tale, The Story of King Zaman and Shahryar, Part 1. In a bygone era, shrouded in the mists of time, in a far-off land known as Indochina, a just and fair king ruled with wisdom and compassion, beloved by his people. He had two sons, the elder named Shah Zaman and the younger Shahbaz, both of whom were educated by the wisest scholars and nobles from a young age. They grew to be renowned not only for their martial prowess, but also for their deep understanding of the sciences and the arts. However, despite their many virtues, they lacked the ability to govern a land effectively, a trait that would have made them truly great rulers in the eyes of their father. The time came for the king to appoint his sons to positions of authority, a decision that would change the course of their lives forever. One day, he summoned his elder son, Shah Zaman, to his chambers, a grand hall filled with the scent of rosewater and the soft glow of candles.
"My son, I have decided that it is time for you to take on a greater role. I want you to proceed to Samarkand, a land that requires a capable and just ruler. Establish your rule there so our power may spread and our territories expand. The people of Samarkand are known for their wisdom and their love of knowledge. I do not doubt that you will be a worthy ruler for them."
The next day, Shah Zaman and his entourage set off towards Samarkand, a journey that would take them across vast deserts and through lush valleys. As they travelled, they encountered various cultures and peoples, each with their own stories and traditions. The journey was long and arduous, but Shah Zaman was determined to reach his destination and fulfill his father's wishes. Not long after Shah Zaman's departure, the king fell ill, his condition worsening with each passing day. Despite the efforts of the royal physicians, he eventually succumbed to his illness and passed away, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom and justice. The younger son, Shahbaz, succeeded him as the ruler of Indochina, a position that came with great responsibility and challenge. 20 years passed, and both brothers ruled their respective lands, each in their own way. Shah Zaman, now an experienced ruler, had established a reputation for fairness and wisdom in Samarkand. Shahbaz, on the other hand, had become known for his tyranny and injustice in Indochina, traits that had made him unpopular among his subjects. The people lived in fear of his wrath, and the land suffered under his rule. One day, Shah Zaman felt a pang of longing for his younger brother and decided to visit Shahbaz in Indochina, a journey that would test the bonds of their brotherhood. He selected a precious gem from the palace treasury as a gift for his brother, a symbol of their unbreakable bond. Then, he summoned his Grand Vizier, a man known for his wisdom and loyalty.
In 2 days, I shall embark on a long journey to Indochina to visit my brother. In my absence, the administration of the kingdom falls upon you. Inform the scholars, wise men, and courtiers to accompany me on this journey, for I wish to travel with the dignity and honor befitting my station.
2 days later, at sunrise, Shah Zaman and a large retinue of scholars, wise men, and courtiers set off towards Indochina, a caravan that stretched across the horizon like a serpent. They travelled throughout the day, the sun beating down upon them, and pitched their tents under the moonlight at night, resting until dawn. The journey was filled with the sounds of laughter and music, but Shah Zaman's heart was heavy with the thought of his brother. Shortly after they had settled into their campsite, Shah Zaman remembered that he had left the precious gem intended as a gift for his brother back in the palace. Aware that his companions would accuse him of forgetfulness and incompetence if they discovered this, he decided to return to the palace under the cover of night, to retrieve the gem and return to the tents before dawn, a decision that would change the course of their lives forever. Thus, after everyone had fallen asleep, he summoned 2 trusted guards and, under the pretext of attending to an urgent matter, swiftly made his way back to the palace, the darkness of the night enveloping them like a cloak. Reaching the palace in the dead of night, he instructed the guards to wait outside and entered the palace quietly, making his way to the royal chambers, his heart pounding in his chest. Upon reaching the royal bedroom, he was met with a sight that filled him with rage and sorrow, a betrayal that cut deep into his heart. His wife, the queen of his kingdom, was lying on the royal bed alongside one of his ministers, embracing each other lovingly, a scene that he could hardly believe. The king's hands trembled, flames of anger and hatred danced in his eyes, and filled with vengeance, he drew his sword and beheaded both the adulterers, their bodies falling to the ground with a thud. Thereafter, he retrieved the gem and left the palace, returning to the tents without uttering a word to anyone, the weight of his discovery heavy upon him. Just before dawn, Shah Zaman arrived at the tents and, after a brief rest, continued his journey to Indochina with the caravan, the memory of the night's events haunting him. Finally, after 10 days, with a heart heavy with pain and anger, he arrived at Shahbaz's palace, a grand structure that stood as a testament to the wealth and power of Indochina. Shahbaz, overjoyed to see his brother after 20 years, organised a grand feast to celebrate his arrival, complete with dancing, music, and merriment. However, as the celebration progressed, Shahbaz noticed that his brother's face lacked the joy he had expected, instead bearing an expression of grief and sorrow. Unable to bear the sight of his brother's turmoil, Shahbaz inquired about the cause after a while, his concern for his brother evident in his voice. Shah Zaman apologized for his demeanor and said,
A pain weighs heavily within me, and I am currently unable to speak of it. I request that you arrange a multi-day hunting trip. Perhaps it will alleviate some of my pain and sorrow, enabling me to recount the tale to you.
Shahbaz complied, immediately ordering the preparation of a large caravan for the hunting expedition, hoping it would ease his brother's grief and bring back the joy that had once been so evident in his face. Early the next morning, Shahbaz went to his brother's chambers to accompany him on the hunt. But upon entering, he found Shah Zaman in a worse state than before, unable to undertake the journey. Thus, Shahbaz decided to postpone the trip, not wishing to leave his brother in such a state. But Shah Zaman, still unwell, suggested,
Since everything is ready, proceed with the caravan to the hunting grounds. Leave me be, so I may rest today and recover. I will join you tomorrow. Do not inform anyone of my presence here, so I may rest in peace throughout the day."
Shahbaz agreed and departed with the caravan, leaving Shah Zaman to his rest. The palace was quiet, the only sound being the soft rustling of the leaves in the garden. By midday, Shah Zaman, feeling slightly better, arose from his bed to gaze upon the garden within the palace and breathe in some fresh air, hoping to alleviate his sorrow. As he approached the window, he was met with a sight he could hardly believe, a scene that shook him to his core. If his own queen had betrayed him under the cover of night, in Shahbaz's palace, the queen and other women of the harem, along with slaves, courtiers, and ministers, were reveling and engaging in debauchery in the palace courtyard, without any shame or modesty, in full view of everyone. This sight pierced Shah Zaman's heart with even greater pain, and he returned to his bed, more distraught and ill than before, pondering how to reveal this to his brother. Meanwhile, Shahbaz, not seeing his brother the next day, became restless, cancelled the hunt, and hastened back to the palace with his caravan, his heart filled with concern for his brother. Rushing to his brother's chambers, he found Shah Zaman gravely ill and distraught. Shahbaz could bear it no longer and asked his brother to share his pain, his voice filled with empathy and compassion. Shah Zaman, unable to keep his secret any longer, revealed the tale of the gem and his queen's betrayal to his brother, a story that would change Shahbaz's life forever. Shahbaz was deeply saddened and inquired,
"Why did you abandon the hunting trip? It was arranged at your request and for your well-being, and you were to join me. What changed?"
It was then that Shah Zaman recounted the entire story of what he had witnessed in Shahbaz's palace the previous day, a tale of betrayal and deceit that shook Shahbaz to his foundations. Shahbaz was taken aback, his tongue tied in shock, as anger, sorrow, doubt, and disbelief's existence completely engulfed him. Addressing Shah Zaman, he said,
"If anyone else had uttered such words, I would have beheaded them on the spot. But you are my brother, and I fear that your affliction and illness have led you to utter these words out of delusion. How could it be that no one in this palace respects my honor and betrays me so?"
Shah Zaman assured his brother that his words were true and not a fabrication, a testament to the bond between them. He then proposed that, to verify the truth, Shahbaz should order the caravan to depart for the hunting grounds the next day, but they would remain hidden in the palace, a plan that would unveil the truth and change their lives forever. Shahbaz, though convinced that his brother's words were a result of his sorrow and illness, agreed to do as Shah Zaman suggested, a decision that would lead to a revelation that neither could have anticipated. The next morning, the caravan departed for the hunt, while Shah Zaman and Shahbaz remained in the palace, hiding in secret chambers, their hearts pounding with anticipation. By midday, as Shah Zaman had described, the scene of revelry and debauchery unfolded in the palace courtyard, with Shahbaz witnessing it all with his own eyes, a sight that filled him with a mix of shock, anger, and despair. Shah Zaman, seeing his brother's despair, said,
You now have two paths before you. Either accept this dishonor, close your eyes to what you've seen, and continue your reign, or summon your soldiers now and put an end to this shame by beheading all those present in the courtyard.
Shahbaz, barely able to speak, replied,
This kingdom and rulership mean nothing to me now, and I cannot endure this dishonor. Since we are no longer fit to rule, it is better that we travel to a distant land together, live out our days in anonymity, and keep our secret hidden.
Shah Zaman accepted Shahbaz's proposal, and the next morning, the two brothers, disguised, left the palace towards an unknown destination, their hearts heavy with the weight of their discoveries. To be continued in part 2 of the tale of Shah Zaman and Shahbaz. See you in the next episode. Farewell.